Well, hello, friends. Welcome into the TexAgs Rewind presented by Specs. It's great time for sipping red wine from Cave to Sauv to Malbecs, the Big Bordeaux. I hope I'm saying that right. Sell now at Specs. Cheers to savings. Why are you laughing, Nick?
Is
it Boudreaux,
you're
Bordeaux?
known as the wine expert and the resident country boy at TexAgs.
I think I'm better when it comes to country than I am to wine.
Yeah, true.
Although I whine a lot. Hey, by the way, we're in the Rollo Insurance Studio. Ava, your favorite part of the show?
That's a tough one. We had a lot of good people today.
Oh, you could say me.
Oh, you too.
Okay.
But you were one of the people.
Thanks.
Josh Pate was great. I always like hearing from him. I'm more eager to hear from him each week. Like he really draws my attention. But Dustin Harris was a really good one.
Yeah.
I was excited to hear from him. I've never met him before, so he was good. Yeah.
Nick, who were you eager to listen to?
I think the most timely guest we had on today was Winter. That was a good get, and he does a great job of dumbing it down to where someone like me can understand everything that's going on.
You know, the guy who books this show is really good at what he does. I love our booker, JT Booker. So who else is on the Rewind, Nick?
We had Josh Pate, like you mentioned. Mint Winter is on there as well. Chris Lowe from ESPN, and Dustin Harris, of course.
The Rewind. Check it.
Were Iowa, because I've never been to a game there. Well, actually three. So Iowa, Nebraska, Wisconsin are three I haven't been to, and you hear some degree of really good things about. So I couldn't put them there. So you could call the list incomplete. Then you've got other games so we can mention A&M here. So I went to two A&M games last year, stood on the sideline the entirety of both of them. The Missouri game, blowout, to the point where the second half's not competitive. The Texas game was... I don't know how you felt about that. Well, actually, you've probably stated over and over again how you felt about the game, but there was kind of a weird longing for there to be a spark offensively. And then when they had to pick in the second half, that was probably as electric as the place was the whole time. It's not that, it was ever over until it was over, but you didn't have that back and forth where you take it in the end zone and then the following series, 1st and 10, 2nd and 8, 3rd and 7, Texas places at full throat. You didn't have that 5 or 6 times. What I'm trying to say is, I have yet to experience that place the way I know it probably is. The way, like, when you've upset Alabama and I've turned the game on from a distance, I see it, but I haven't been able to feel it. So, in that sense, the list is kind of what it is. Like, it's your opinion, it's your experience. Conversely, I've been in Neyland the last 2 times they upset Bama.
Right.
So they upset Bama, they stormed the field, and the first time they did it was the first time in 15 years they've beat them. So I know I've experienced Neyland Stadium at its very best. I know I've experienced like Tiger Stadium at night at its very best. So some of those places just have a leg up. Like the only time I've been to a Clemson game was when they played A&M, actually, to open the season several years ago. I think the kickoff temperature was like 138 degrees, 139 degrees, somewhere around there. So that was a great atmosphere, but there's probably another level up when the temperature's not triple digits and it's a night game that Tiger Stadium at Clemson could hit. So that was mine. Now, what you said there, it was very mature of you. You said, if someone has an opinion and I have an opposing opinion, I can just disagree with him and move on. Nuno, that's a rarity. That is a rarity.
Kind of remind the audience what is actually changing today beyond, like, yes, the universities can pay the athletes, but just kind of give us a brief reintroduction to what's changing.
Yeah, the big change is really who's paying the athletes and how that payment process is happening. The past, NIL compensation has been allowed for college athletes since July 1, 2021, 4 years to the day. The vast majority of the NIL compensation paid to athletes over those 4 years has come from boosters via NIL collectives. Like, people estimate around 85% of NIL compensation paid to athletes has come from boosters. There have been brand deals too, but most of it's coming from boosters. And that is shifting from the boosters paying that money to athletes via collectives to now schools directly are going to be paying the majority of NIL compensation going to athletes. And in a lot of cases, that money that schools are paying to athletes will still be coming from boosters. They just will give it to the school instead of giving it to an NIL collective. The payments are often referred to as rev share payments, but it's not always going to be athletics revenue that a school generates. It's actually being paid to the athletes. It can come from any source of revenue that the school's athletic program has. whether that is true revenue generated by athletics, ticket sales, whatever. It can come from donations from boosters. It can come from the university side, from tuition money, depending on what your state laws allow. And then the other big change, obviously, is now the athletes are directly contracting with the schools. And the agreements generally say that athletes are providing schools with a license to use the athletes' NIL in various ways. And sometimes they're also providing specific services for the schools. So that's where we're at starting today.
They've given them some weapons. Casey Concepcion, Mario Craver, Terry Bussey should grow into a nice player. Just your thoughts on what Marcel has to do for this offense to take a step.
Well, I think the people around him have to take the step. Clearly he does too, but I think they should be better around him. There's no reason up front with all the guys they're bringing back in the offensive line that they should not be an offense that is balanced and not have to put too much on him. No, he's got to throw the ball better, as I said, down the field. They've got to be able on third down to move the chains when they need to, 3rd and 7 and 3rd and 8. Having a healthy Le'Veon Moss for the whole season certainly will be a big part of that. But you mentioned Concepcion. I can tell you guys from talking to coaches and people in the ACC that I know well, he was as, I don't want to say feared, but he was as respected a playmaker as there was in that league. His ability to make plays after the catch, his ability to beat people in deep pass routes. But just one of those guys that you got to know where he is at all times. And the best passing teams typically have that guy that you can throw 10, 12 yards downfield, break a tackle, and make it into a 25, 30 or longer type play. I think he's that kind of guy, and he's very, very good in the open field after he catches the football.
Well, I recognize a lot of A&M's issues at the end of last season were on the defensive side, and they couldn't score against Texas. There's no doubt about that. But the team looked different without Le'Veon Moss. When he went down, they were a different team. Le'Veon should be healthy to go. Ruben Owen should be healthy to go. The offensive line you've already talked about. How about that running game and what that kind of support it can give Marcel and that passing game?
Yeah, I mentioned Moss. I remember when I was there a couple of years ago. See, this is what Ruben's 3rd year on campus. Is that right?
Ruben Owens?
Yes. This will be his 2nd or 3rd. How many years has he been on campus?
Oh,
now?
sorry, I didn't misunderstood your question. This is his 3rd year.
That's what I thought.
Last year he didn't get to play.
Right, I know he didn't play last year. So it would have been 2 years ago I was there in the spring watching practice, or maybe it was the preseason, I can't remember. And watching him and seeing him, I remember thinking to myself, this kid has everything it takes to be a premier SEC running back. And sometimes it takes a while at that position. He's had, Moss obviously got hurt last year. He didn't play last year. I would be very surprised if he's not an impact player. And you look at running games, especially in the SEC, you got to have more than one. You got to have 2, sometimes 3 to make it through the season. I mean, if you're A&M, you're hoping you play 14, 15 games this year.
When you're 17, 18, 19 years old and you get $600,000, $1 million, like money that I'll never see, right? Do you think that, I think there are some that like, I have to prove that I'm worth this. There's that group, you'd fall in that group. Yeah. And then there's a group like, I'll work on it later.
Yeah, I mean, it kind of speaks to the guys that I played with. Because the guys I played with, we played for pride. That senior group I graduated with, Sean Porter and all those guys, we had the mentality that, we weren't losing. I mean, we had already went through, our freshman, sophomore, junior year, not having, we had good years, but we didn't have that, that level of a year that we wanted. And I think if you threw NIL into that deal, you got guys playing for their life at that point. Because, I mean, we were already proving ourselves as seniors. But to throw NIL in there would have been just another level for us.
Is there a game or two that still haunts you?
So I would definitely say our senior year, the first game we had, I do believe it was Florida. Our first game, we lost. And That was the whole Johnny Manziel
Johnny coming
era.
out party. You almost had that one.
And we should have. I mean, it was field goal after field goal after field goal, right? And we should have had that game. And to think that we lost 2 games that year and we could have been in the playoffs. And looking back at that game, I actually, it's funny because I actually got taken out of the game for a freshman, Devontae Harris, good friend of mine, good buddy, his teammate to, forever. But I got taken out for a freshman because I had missed a couple of assignments. And he did great, did absolutely wonderful. And then that's where we started rotating in. But that game right there haunts me because just to know that senior class had one more year to get to and playoffs had just started. So one more year to get into the playoffs, and all we had to do was win that game.
All right, Ava, tell the people.
Remember to like, comment, share, subscribe, and come back tomorrow for more.
Say it backwards.
Remember to come back tomorrow for Wednesday. No, what's today? Wait, tomorrow Wednesday? Yeah, to a Wednesday show. Like, follow, share, tell your friends about it.
Yeah, that's actually better than I thought.
Okay.
All right, we'll see you next time.